What if I told you that you didn't really need years and years of experience to become an amazing sewist? Sure, that's a way to do it, and that's a good way to learn how to sew, but there are small things that I share with you that will change your sewing game forever. I've been sewing for 7 years, so today I'm going to be sharing 7 things that I wish I knew earlier. Tip number 7 will actually blow your mind, so make sure to watch until the end of the video, because it's something that I just discovered a few months ago, and maybe it's something that you will love as well. These are things that I wish someone would have told me the first day I sat down with my sewing machine, so consider this my biggest gift for you. I really know that sewing can become so frustrating, especially if you're beginning, because you feel nothing's coming out right, or maybe your first projects are some things that you just don't want to wear. But maybe these tips will help that, so let's get started. Tip number 1, if you want to finish fast, go slow. I know this sounds backwards, but rushing while working on a project is the #1 reason why your projects look messy. And I know that's something you may not want to hear, because we want to finish things super quick. Sometimes we sit down and we're like, okay, let's finish this sewing project in 2 hours. And it actually ends up taking us about a whole week to finish a project. Professional sewing doesn't mean fast sewing, because when you actually take your time to finish something, you'll notice that the seams look straighter, the fabric doesn't bunch up, you don't have to use your seam reaper as much. And I swear that's a small thing that really changes your game. Tip number 2, not every fabric works for every project. Maybe this sounds kind of obvious to you, but it's a problem many people encounter, and not only when they're beginners. This can happen a lot of times, especially if you want to recreate a look you found somewhere. It's really important that you go with a fabric that looks as much as possible as that inspiration. It doesn't mean that it has to be the same color or print, but it does mean it has to have the same weight. If it's stretch fabric, it should be stretch fabric, and vice versa. When you go fabric shopping, there's amazing people ready to help you. So I recommend, if you don't know a lot about fabrics, you show them your inspiration, and they'll definitely help you out to see what would work best with your project. Tip number 3 is to always sew a mock-up or sample before using your actual fabric. We've all been there. We've bought amazing fabric. Sometimes it's really expensive, and when you go to sew it, it's a total waste because the pattern didn't work, or maybe it wasn't what you had in mind. I suggest you always use cheaper fabrics when sewing something for the first time. As you know, commercial patterns will not always fit you right because they're made with average measurements, so it's impossible that a size fits you perfectly. So you'll end up having to modify it or taking it in a few inches here and there for it to look right on your body. And you honestly don't want to make those mistakes with an expensive, pretty fabric that you have kept for a while for a specific project. The next tip is actually something quite similar to what I was saying. Not all sewing patterns will work on you, and that's okay. Sometimes specific garments are designed for a specific type of body, and even though it might fit someone, it might not fit you as well, and that is totally fine. There's tons of variables that could affect how something fits on you. You may be taller, shorter. Fun fact, most commercial sewing patterns are made for women with B cups. So if you have a larger bust size, it's very likely a pattern that's fitted to the body will not fit you as intended. I always like to recommend people that they sew something that they already know they like. For example, if you like a dress in your closet, I would go for similar silhouettes, fit, and even colors. That way you know it's something that you will actually like. It's amazing being creative and playing around with fabrics, colors, prints, shapes, everything. But sometimes we don't really go into what fits us best. There's colors, for example, you might feel more confident in, or silhouettes that you like better on your body. And honestly, it's all about feeling confident and feeling amazing while wearing what you sew. Tip number 5, if you're sewing and everything seems to be going wrong, take a break. Sometimes we start sewing at 10 a.m. and it's 3 a.m. in the morning, and we're still trying to finish a project because we're determined to finish it that day. And it's almost always at the time when your machine apparently has some issues, or your zipper doesn't seem to be working, or your bobbin runs out, or you decide to take it in and cut a few inches off that you later find out you didn't have to cut. And I know that's the most frustrating thing in the world, but I have found that the solution for it is taking a break. Go to sleep, do something else, and I swear that when you come back, your sewing machine is going to be working perfectly and everything will work wonderfully. Tip number 6. Many people think that sewing is sitting down in your machine and just sewing until you finish the garment, and that could not be further from the truth. I always like to remind people that 50% of sewing is actually getting your sewing pattern right. Whether you're buying a commercial sewing pattern, whether you're trying to make it yourself, it always takes up about the same amount of time as sewing the garment, sometimes even much more, especially if you're testing a new pattern to see how it fits on you. So if you're making a pattern from scratch on your own, don't expect to finish everything in that day. It's normal for it to take a lot of time. And last but most important, tip number 7. What if I told you that there's a tool that you can use to create accurate and professional sewing patterns in seconds? Patterns that will be made to your own measurements and patterns that you could actually see how they fit before you actually sew them. I want to introduce you to Aiclo. I'm not kidding when I tell you this will become your new best friend. Aiclo is an AI sewing assistant. Just imagine a world where every item you sew fits you perfectly. It's made for your body with your exact measurements. And don't tell me that doesn't sound like an actual dream. I've been testing out Aiclo and I have made multiple patterns already, and I cannot tell you how impressed I am with it. Every single pattern I've sewn from Aiclo has genuinely been perfect on my body. It's not too tight, not too loose, it doesn't look big on me. It follows my specific measurements. Sometimes when I sew other patterns, I have to take them in here and there for them to fit me perfectly. But with Aiclo, what I sew is what I put on and it looks perfect on me. On Aiclo, you create a digital avatar with your measurements. I have mine saved up with my name, and I just make whatever pattern I choose from Aiclo with my digital avatar. You can modify the measurements however you like, you can modify colors, prints, everything. All patterns even come with tech packs with general sewing instructions for what you need to sew. You can grade the patterns to different sizes and you can download them in multiple formats, choosing whichever works better for you. I honestly don't have to say anything else. I know you might be just as intrigued as I was the first time I heard about Aiclo. So let me just tell you that the first 2 pattern downloads from Aiclo are completely free. I especially love the slip dress with darts pattern. I think it's so beautiful, so easy to sew. So it's a quick project with which you can try Aiclo. Or if you're not new with Aiclo and if you want to continue using the patterns, you can use code SEW20 for an extra 20% off any plan. And currently Aiclo has 40% off all plans. So you'll basically be getting 60% off your plan if you start right now. And I don't know about you, but that sounds like a deal. If you'd like to see more of what I've tried out from Aiclo, you can check out videos here on YouTube. In these videos, you'll find me looking for inspiration, making the patterns in Aiclo, and actually sewing them. And so I highly recommend you checking them out. Or you could also look us up on Instagram. There's a ton of videos there too. So I really hope this video has helped you and opened up your mind to see what things you can actually implement to sew more professional looking garments. And if you have any questions, we're always happy to help. You can DM us on Instagram or even comment here on YouTube, and I'll make sure to answer any questions you have. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you next week. We'll be trying out a different pattern from Aiclo, so you don't want to miss it.